Hello, so in this video I show parts from the Chancellor of the Exchequer when he says that the Labour crashed the economy. So let's watch this part now.
Chancellor of the Exchequer. Chicken.
Mr. Speaker, at least he didn't try to throw a little red book at me this time. So let's see, the Shadow Chancellor says he attacks the decisions that were made over the last decade to restore the nation's finances. He attacks the free enterprise system, the same free enterprise system that has delivered the prosperity that our nation enjoys. He refuses to recognize understands that a strong economy is absolutely necessary to pay for public services. Now, why have we made these decisions over the last decade that gets us to where we are now, where we can properly end austerity for good? Labour trashed the economy last time it was in power, like it always does. Let's just remember, the Shadow Chancellor talked about cuts that were made to public services over the last decade. Let's just remember what we inherited, the absolute mess that we inherited in 2010. A deficit, 10% of GDP, £150 billion in borrowing in that year, the biggest budget deficit in our peacetime history, the biggest budget deficit of any large industrialised nation. They were borrowing, Mr. Speaker, £5,000 a second. The deepest recession that we had seen in almost 100 years. And, Mr. Speaker, he talked about the bankers. Which government gave us the biggest banking bailout in global history? The last Labour government. That was our inheritance, Mr. Speaker. And it was absolutely clear that had that continued, that unsustainable rate of spending, with no link between what was coming in and what was going out, the country would have gone bankrupt, just like it did with Labour in the past when we had to go cap in hand to the IMF. That is the legacy of every Labour government. It took Conservatives to clear up Labour's mess, bringing the deficit under control, bringing debt under control, to have it falling for the first time in a generation in terms of proportion of national income, reducing taxes for 40 million people, backing millions of businesses, and a jobs miracle. More people employed today in Britain than at any other time in our history, the lowest unemployment rate since 1975. And the Shadow Chancellor talked about the impact on economic growth of our policies. Let me tell him about the impact on economic growth. Since 2010, since Conservatives were back in office, our economy has grown by 18.7%. That is faster than France, faster than Italy, faster than Japan. I'll tell him about the risk to the economy. The only risk to the economy is the Shadow Chancellor, his policies, and the entire party opposite. They have a tax hike, Mr. Speaker, for everyone. They have a tax hike if you happen to own a garden, if you want to give a gift to someone, if you want to go on holiday, if you own a home. Whoever you are, they've got a tax hike for you. They want to raid private pensions. Just this week we learned more about their plans. They want to confiscate 10% of almost all of our large companies. That's £300 billion they want to confiscate from pensioners from their private plans. Mr. Speaker, they also want to renationalise industries. Seven, 8, 9? I don't know how many industries they want to renationalise. Mr. Speaker, I have to say, I didn't detect many questions, so I'll finish very quickly, because I didn't give an opportunity for members to ask proper questions. The simple truth is, Mr. Speaker, Labour are unfit to govern. They would not deliver Brexit. They would wreck our economy over again, and hard-working families will pay the price, and we will not let it happen.
Chris Brand.
Instead of wasting £4 billion on no deal, can he just spend some money in the Rhondda, please? Just 2% of that figure would pay for finishing off the Rhondda-Varch Relief Road, rebuilding Llyn-y-Forwyn School, buying new trains which might actually be clean and run on time for the Treherbert line, providing a new home for the Rhondda Sea Cadets, and paying for a new PET-CT scanner for South Wales.
Chancellor.
Mr. Speaker, well, the good news is we don't have to choose between investing in leaving the EU and investing in Rwanda or anywhere else in the country. And the reason is because under the Conservatives, you'll have a strong economy, but if that party was ever in charge, then we wouldn't have the money to invest anywhere. But secondly, in answering his question, he said, how will it help people in such vulnerable positions? What this does today is it underlines the fundamental economic strength, and that will give more confidence, and this means that our economy can continue to grow, continue to generate jobs, and jobs will continue always to be the best sustainable way out of poverty.
So, as you see from the video parts, the Labour will not help the citizens. That's why voting to the Labour might give revolution. This is all for today. There will be a new video on motivation soon. I work on something. Please subscribe to my channel and comment below. See you in the next video.
Members must calm themselves. There is a long way to go. There will be more. There will indeed be more.